Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Ari Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Mu'ulam, hinei, zois be'emes achmis takbulas yetzer hara b'armoso, lahachmid avodas o b'tmidus, alibos b'nei odom ad shelo yishar lehem revach lidboinin listakel be'ezeh derechem hochim. This is the way of the yetzer hara. The yetzer hara puts a certain amount of pressure, tension, stress on you. You have to do this. You have to do that. Until the point where you just don't have any time to think about what am I doing. Kiyodehu, because the yetzer hara knows. Shilule haya samim libam kimat kat al derchem, that if you would pay attention just for a little bit about what you're doing, vaday shmiyad haya matchilim linachim mimaseyam, you would definitely start to regret some of the things that you did. V'haisa charot oleches. And that feeling of regret would get bigger until you'd have no choice but to leave, stop doing the chet. This is something very common that people have, an internal struggle. When a person is doing something, he's doing something wrong. So it really depends on why is he doing that thing wrong. Let's take, for example, a person who purposely wants to go off the derech. Person who purposely wants to go off the derech. So what happens the first time they're Mechal Shabbos on purpose? Right? They think, that's what they think. They think they're going to be struck by lightning in right away. There's a certain fear. There's definitely a fear. First thing I purposely open the car, turn on the car. First time I purposely turn on the light. First time I purposely do something. On purpose I did it. There's some people who have this, they want to get rid of this sense of fear, so they dafka keeping Mechal Shabbos as many times as they possibly can, so to get rid of this feeling of guilt. I don't want to think about it, because I know if I think about it, I'm going to feel guilty, and I can't live with that feeling of guilt. So what do? You have to kill that feeling till it's dead, and then I don't feel it anymore. Then I'm scared anymore. Because the feelings of guilt that a person has when he knows he's doing something wrong is too much for a person to handle. So you have a choice at that point. If you know you're doing something wrong, you have a choice. Either to fix it and do what's right, or to make excuses why it's okay, or just to forget about it. Don't even think about it. A person goes from this intense fear, if they continue, and they continue to be Mechal Shabbos over and over and over and over and over again, over the span of weeks, months, years, they get to a point they don't even remember that it's Shabbos anymore. It doesn't even mean anything to them. That's what it means. Chazal tell us, Nase lo keheter. It's as if it's mutter. Is it really mutter? No. But to them, there's no steer anymore. There's no inner contradiction. They don't have that feeling of guilt anymore. And this is exactly what the yetzer hara wants you to do. He wants you to not think. When you don't think, you won't feel either. A person thinks, then they'll feel. And if they feel, they won't feel good about it. And that's why ultimately a person will stop doing it, because he realizes, hey, this is wrong. I really need to stop. And a little bit at a time. Whereas the yetzer hara is working the opposite way, saying, stop thinking about it. And this is what he ends off over here. A few weeks ago, Parsha Shemois, this is what the Eitzah, what Paro said after Moshe Rabbeinu said, let my people go. First time, he said, make it the work harder for them. If they have more work they're not going to have time. They're not going to have time to think even to rebel against me. And that's what it says in this past week's Parsha, that when Moshe Rabbeinu told him, he's trying to give them hope. There's going to be Geula. We're going to leave Mitzrayim. Hashem's going to take us out. What did this pasuk say? They couldn't listen even. They couldn't even listen. They couldn't hear it. Because this is exactly what Paro was trying to do. They don't have time for that. You don't have time even to dream. You don't have time to dream. Maybe something will get better. Maybe there'll be a Geula. That's what the yetzer hara wants from you. You don't have time for that even. And while the yetzer hara is trying to strip you of all thought, that's the most powerful thing that we can use. The power of dibyonis is one of the major, also a tool of the yetzer hara. We use our minds to think, hey, what am I doing? Where am I? How did I get to here? A lot of times, where people hit that, it's called hitting rock bottom. Unfortunately, a person has to hit rock bottom many times in order to realize, hey, now no place to go but up. Unfortunately, sometimes they don't even realize rock bottom could actually be much lower. We don't want to get that far, to the point where, Rahman al-Than, I'd rather not say what happens. But a person really can wake up at some point and say, wow, how did I get here? I remember once upon a time I was doing so well. How did I get to this point? That's waking up, where all of a sudden you realize, where have I been? How come you weren't awake before that? Because the yetzer hara had you, was pushing you without giving you time to think. We needed time. It's time to wake up and think. Okay, we'll stop over here.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.